Hello, so in today's lesson we're going to look at forming and solving equations. So you'll see a starter with various solving equation questions that you're going to need the skills in the rest of the lesson. So have a go at these. Just remember that if you're trying the first one, for example, you sort of think about how you're going to get rid of that plus 3 to begin with. So you're going to do the opposite, so you take 3. Okay, the top two are very similar. The bottom left one, you've got x's on both sides, so remember the rule there is to take away the smallest x. So do you want to put me on pause now and then come back for the answers in a couple of minutes' time? Thank you. Okay, then the answers. So you should see, first of all, I've taken off the 3 to get rid of the 3. So that means you're left with 3x equals 9. And it's 9 because 12 take 3 is 9. That means 3 times something is 9. So that answer must be 3. Next up, okay, so you take off the 3, which leaves you with 4x equals 12. Because 15 take 3 is 12. And then that means 4 times something is 12, so that something must be 3. On the next one, where you've got x's on both sides of the equation, you take away the smallest x. So you can see I've taken away 2x because that is the smallest one, rather than taking away 7x. So 7x take 2x is the reason why you get 5x in the next line. Okay, so you've got 5x take 2, and the 2x has disappeared from the other side of the equation, so it equals 13 on its own. And now they're just like the red and the yellow ones, okay? So you need to get rid of that minus 2, you must add 2, so it gives you 5x equals 15. So 5 times something is 15, so that something is 3. Have a look at the bottom right one. That is, you first of all need to expand the brackets. So have a little read of that. And then once you're ready to move on, we'll move on to the next slide. So today we're looking at forming and solving equations. So I didn't put that in the learning objective, but in particular it's the forming of equations that's going to be important today. So this is sort of where algebra is used. You've seen this slide several times, I suspect. We'll just do a bit of a recap just to make sure we understood the starter properly, okay? And then I'll give you a chance to have a go at a couple more of these before we get on to any forming of equations. So the first example. So it's got x's on both sides, so you must get rid of the smallest x. If you remember last lesson, that's what we were doing, okay? So the smallest x here is the 2x. So let's get rid of that 2x. So in order to get rid of that 2x, I subtract 2x from both sides of the equation. And as a result, the 5x becomes 3x, and the numbers just stay the same. So I've got 3x plus 9 equals 30. And now you've got to solve that. So to get rid of that plus 9, you subtract 9. If you subtract 9, you're left with 3x equals 21, because 30 becomes 21. And as a result, x has got to be 7, because 3 lots of 7 is 21. Okay, next one. So subtract the smallest x again. The smallest x here is the 3x rather than the 5x. So I'm going to take away 3x from both sides of the equation. So 5x will become 2x. Okay. Notice how the numbers have stayed the same as well. So minus 7 stays the same, and also the 3 stays the same as well. Okay. And now to get rid of that minus 7, you're going to add 7. So that means 2x will become, well, 3 add 7 is 10. Finally, 2 times something is 10, so that x must be 5. Okay, so have a go at these three. Put me on pause while you try them, and then come back for the answers. Okay. So here are the answers. Apologies about the line through the first one. But first of all, you're taking away 2x, which is the smallest x. So you get 3x take 2x is just going to be 1x, or x. So x plus 20 is 30. So something plus 20 is 30. That something has got to be 10. Have a look at the other ones. It's the same way, okay? And then we're going to move on to some forming of equations. Right then, forming and solving. So this is going to use our skills with solving, and also we're going to put it in context. We're going to put it in the context of angles. Okay, so we're going to see a few examples then you're going to try a few. Okay, so let's have a look then. So the first example, ignore the lines that are there for some reason. So I've got a trapezium. Okay, so importantly, the word trapezium is not important. It's the fact it's a four-sided shape that's important. Before we do anything, let's have a little think to yourself. What do the angles in a four-sided shape add up to make? So if it was a square, for example, what would they add up to make? So hopefully you recognise that they're going to add up to make 360. Keep that in your mind for the moment, okay? Right, there's 3 steps to this. Okay? The goal is essentially to find x. So there's 3 steps. So the first step is write down what we know, okay? So I'm just going to write down the angles that we have. So the angles that we have, we've got an x plus 50. So I've written that underlined in red. I've got an x plus 10. I mean, I've separated it here, but you don't have to do that. I've got an x plus 10. See, I've got those 2 angles written down. X plus 50 and x plus 10. And I've also got 2 other angles. And these squares, if you remember, mean 90. So it's going to be plus 90 and plus 90. So I've just written down the 4 angles. Okay? And the key point is that these make 360, those angles. Okay? Because the angles in a 4-sided shape make 360. Right, the next step, once you've written down what you know, is to group things together. So how many x's do you see there? Hopefully you see 2. So I'll write down this and let me explain what we've done. Okay? So I've got an x and an x, so that's 2x. And I've grouped together all the numbers. So I've got 90, add 10, add 50, which makes that 240. You can check because 50 plus 10 is 60, plus 90 is 150, plus another 90 is 240. And we just know that that equals 360, okay? And now this looks like what you've been doing. And it looks like what you've been doing in the starter. We've got to solve it and find x. So to do that, let's take away the 240. So when you do that, you get 2x equals 120. You've taken away 240. So 2 times something is 120. So that something must be 60. Okay? And it did say work out the largest angle. Well, the largest angle is going to be 50 in. But that extra step is not too important at the moment. It's just the solving that I'm most interested in. So another question here. If I've got a straight line, I've got 2 angles. Let's go through the 3 steps then. The first step, as we said, was to write down what we know. So we know there's an angle that's 3x plus 10. I've underlined it. And we also know there's another angle that's 7x plus 12. Right, how many x's do you see? The second step is to group them. So I've got a 3x and a 7x. So I've got 10 of them. Okay? And I also group the numbers. So I've got 10 and 12, which is 22. Okay? Now, you may wonder why I've written down equals 180. And the reason why that is because the angles on a straight line make 180. So 10x plus 22 equals 180. Okay? So now I've got to solve that equation, like what you've been doing before in the starter. So I'm going to take away that 22, first of all, which gives me 10x equals 158. And 10 times something is 158, which gives you, so 158 divided by 10 is 15.8. So it's a decimal in this case. I think this is the only example that will have a decimal in. The rest will be all whole numbers. Let's do another one then, and you can try one afterwards. So first step, write down what we know. So x plus 14, 2x minus 10, and an x. Those are the angles that we have. That's what we know so far. We've written them down. Let's group them then. So how many x's do you see? Well, you've got an x, 2x, and another x. So there's 4 in total, because there's 1 plus 2 plus 1. You get 4x. Now, you might be wondering why I put plus 4, and that's because I have a plus 14 and a minus 10. So 14 minus 10 gives you the 4. And the angles in a triangle make 180. Okay? So either the number on the end is either going to be 360, 180, or 90, depending on the rule. Okay? Now you've got to solve it. So let's get rid of that 4. So once you've done that, get 4x equals 176. So 4 times something is 176. So you do 176 divided by 4, which gives you x equals 44. Right, then there's one for you to try on the right-hand side. Okay, so start by writing down what you know, grouping them, and then solving. I've given you a hint that the right angles make 90, so that'll be sort of what the number on the right-hand side will equal. So have a go at that, and then come back for the answer afterwards. So you want to pause me now. Right then, the answers. So you should have 2x plus 10 and an x plus 20. Okay? That's step one, writing down what we know. Then we group them. 2x and an x gives you 3x, and it's 3x plus 30, so you've got a 10 and a 20. Okay, and that equals 90, as we said in the hint. Now solve it. So get rid of that 30, which gives you 3x equals 60. So 3 times something is 60, so that has got to be 20. Right, then there are some exercises now for you to try. Okay, so just to sort of point out, on the first one, it's going to be making 180 because it's a triangle. Okay, so remember that three-sided shapes, triangles, will make 180. Four-sided shapes will make 360. The first one doesn't have any numbers in, but it's still the same idea. So write down what you know, group them, and then solve. Okay, so it's making 180 on the first one. So have a go at those and then come back for the answers. Thank you. Right then, so here are the answers. So the first one's 18, because you should have written down that you have 10x equals 180, so x is 18. The rest of the answers are appearing there as well. Just mark them off. Okay, now we have other sorts of questions that look a bit like this. Okay, it's very similar again, it's more angle facts. So you'll see in the picture I've got two angles. Now there's different rules here, there's angles in parallel lines, and as a result these will lead to different equations, different sorts of equations to solve. Okay, but generally when you have angles for the moment, right, so they're equal. So in other words, 3x minus 18 equals 2x plus 2. Okay, it's a bit easier to write down the equation this time. Then you've got to solve. So you take away the smallest x. If you take away the smallest x, so take away that 2x, will give you x minus 18 equals 2. And that's why I've written down that line there. Okay? Then to get rid of the 18, you add it onto the other side, and you get x equals 20. Okay, let's try the next one. Again, the bottom picture down here, corresponding angles are equal. So they're equal. The two numbers are equal. So let's take away the smallest x, which gives you 3x on the right-hand side minus 20 equals 10. Okay, so we've got an equation to solve. Right, let's get rid of that minus 20 by adding 20 onto the other side. So 3x equals 30. In other words, x equals 10. Another example, they're equal again. So take away the smallest x, gives you 2x instead of 3x. Then the numbers stay the same. Then you need to get rid of that minus 15, so it becomes, you add it on to get 40. So 2 times something is 40, so it's got to be 20. Okay, some examples here for you to try then. So have a go at these, and then come back for the answers once you've tried them. Okay. Okay, so here are the answers. Sorry about that. So just on the second row, 2, 6 and 10 would have been slightly different because that's the old type. So you have 7x plus 2x equals 180. So 9x equals 180. So that means x is 20. So it's not the equals one, it's the other type we did before on question 2. But the other ones are very similar, okay? Okay, it's an exam question then. It's very similar again. Again, these angles are going to be equal. So form an equation and solve it. So have a go at this now. Okay, then the answers, so they're equal. So 2x plus 15 equals 3x minus, should say 38, not 18. So this number on the end should be 38. See here? So I take away the 2x, which gives me 15 equals x, take 38, not 18. Let me just change that. Okay, so this should say 38. Then you're going to add on that 38, which gives you, if you add 18, add it onto your 15, which gives you 53. Let's cross that out. So 53 is your answer. Okay, apologies about that. Okay. Finally, we can do some work with perimeter as well. So if you want the perimeter of a triangle, you're just going to add up the 3 numbers in the same way because it's around the outside of it. So you're forming your equation again in the same way. So then I'm going to simplify it by collecting the terms together. So I've got a 2x, and a 4x, which gives you 8x. Then you group your numbers. And it's 11 because it's 9. Take 4, which is 5, add your 6. And then we're told in the last part that that equals 39. So you're going to solve that by taking off 11. And then you divide by 8. Okay. So let me just, the answer, if you divide by 8, it shouldn't be 7, it should be 3.5. Again, you can do the same again. So the perimeter is going to be, you write it down, we've got, so all the way around the outside, you've got an x plus 5 from that one. Got an x from that one. You've got another x plus 5 here. And you've got another x here. So that's all the terms grouped together. Then we group them. So you've got x plus x plus x plus x, which is 4x. And then plus your 2 5s, which is 10. And we're told that that equals 38 in the last part. Okay, so 4x plus 10 is 38. So that means 4x equals 28. And therefore x is 7. Okay. So there's 4 here for you to try. So have a go at these. Same idea. And then come back for the answers once you've got them. Thank you. Okay, then, so here are the answers. So once you've formed your equation, you should have got 5x plus 3 plus 2x plus 6 plus 5x plus 3 plus 2x plus 6, which gives you 14x plus 18. So 14x plus 18 equals 158. And then you solve that. Okay, so you've got a bit of time. There's some questions here to try. If you've not got the time, if you run out of time for the lesson, you don't need to try these. You go straight onto the learning objectives. So have I got these now? Here are the answers. Okay, we'll just skip past this because we'll go to them. Sorry about that. Right, so now can you please red, amber, green, purple your work. And thanks for listening, everybody. Thank you.